So in today's video, we are talking about Mike Todd. And we know that Mike Todd has really said and done a whole bizarre things in the past. But in this video, he said something about Jesus that for me, I think it's very concerning because as a pastor, theology actually does matter. When you look at First Timothy and Second Timothy and at the same time Titus, Paul is very strong about paying attention to your teaching and your doctrine as a pastor or as an elder or as a teacher. All right, so let's go to this video that is kind of like going viral, really the most played part of this sermon, and it is interesting to actually listen to it. All right, so let's cut to the chase.
And if the sun only has one switch on, the only thing the sun could do to identify with the creator is turn off. I need you to understand this ain't never happened before. This is not a solar eclipse. This is not the moon in front of the sun. This is the sun literally saying off. Because I got to identify with my creator. But will you? And I need to mess with your theology just for a second, because in the beginning, I think everybody knows this. When God created everything, he said, let there be. And
so when somebody say, I need to mess up with your theology, it is very important that we pay attention and stay away from that person, because theology is very important. Throughout the scriptures, we are told that we should pay attention to our teachings and our doctrines and theology, so that by so doing it, we save ourselves and at the same time save those who actually listen, who are hearing it. And for Mike Todd to actually say that, for me, that's pretty concerning. And that's not even what the point is. The point is he's going to talk about Jesus being the light that God created in the beginning in Genesis chapter 1.
it's light. But that light wasn't the sun. Let there be light. Everybody thought the sun came on. But the Bible tells us that it was day 4 that the sun and the moon were created. Let me just give you a little tidbit. The source of light isn't the S-U-N. The source of light is the S-O-N. In the beginning, let there be light. That was Jesus. He's the source of life. He's the source of your strength. He's the source of your ability. He's the source of the S-O-N is the source of the S-U-N.
I feel like up until now, the sermon was really good. It was really good until he said this. And I'm like, that is very concerning, because do you know what the implication of this actually is? He's basically saying that Jesus was created in Genesis chapter 1, verse 3. And what he's going to do right now is going to go to the book of John and compare when Jesus said, I am the light of the world. But that is not the same as Genesis chapter 1, verse 3. Here, the light was brought forth, the light was created. And as Christians and as Trinitarians, we do believe that the Son is God. And actually, the Son, S-O-N, is the one that actually creates. He's the one that creates, and that is Hebrews chapter 1. He creates. So for him to say that when God said, let there be light here in Genesis chapter 1, is Jesus coming forth? Indeed, Mike Todd is messing up with people's theology. This is basically Arianism, okay? Saying that Jesus was created and not God is Arianism. So when we go to Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 and 3, this is what the Bible says. In the verse 3 says that, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. Let there be light, and light became. Let there be light, and it was. So here, it has got nothing to do with Jesus. This light has got nothing to do with Jesus. So for Mike Todd to go to the book of John and compare that with when Jesus said, I am the light, is very bizarre, because not every word light in the Bible actually refers to God or Jesus. All right. So let's continue and let's listen to what he's saying.
I'll prove it to you. John 8:12. Jesus, he's so gangster, he told people himself he was the light. He on earth with the disciples, John 8:12. Jesus spoke to the people once again and said, I am the light. I'm the light of the world. If you follow me, you won't have to walk in darkness because you will have, watch this, the light that leads to life. The light that leads to life. In the beginning, God created light. That was the revelation of Jesus. And if you understand that, it leads to life. And so now, Jesus says, I'm the light of the world. I'm going somewhere. Stay with me. This is about to bless your heart.
But that is not the revelation of Jesus when God said, let there be light. Yes, here in John, Jesus referred to himself as the light of the world, as light that has come, that, men love darkness. And because of that, they don't want to come to the light. But Genesis 1 verses 3 has got nothing to do with Jesus because it is Jesus who creates this light. It is Jesus who creates this world. All right, so I want us to look at Titus chapter 1. So in Titus chapter 1, Paul is telling Timothy to appoint pastors, appoint elders in the church, but should look out for people with such characteristics, like people who are blameless, people who are not overbearing, people who are not quick-tempered, people whose children are obedient and believing. But in the verse 9, this is what he says in verse 9. He, the elder or the pastor, whatever you want to call it, must hold firmly to their trustworthy message as it has been taught, so that he can encourage others by sound doctrine and refute those who oppose it. And not just that, because why do you have to do that? Because there are many rebellious people full of meaningless talk and deception, especially those of the circumcision group. They must be silenced because they are disrupting whole households by teaching things they ought not to teach, and that for the sake of dishonest gain. This is what they're doing. They're teaching things that they are not supposed to teach, and they're teaching that for dishonest gain. So people need to be silenced and corrected and rebuked for the things that they are teaching. So for Mike Todd to be teaching something like this, which is calling Jesus or pretty much saying Jesus was a created being and going to Genesis chapter 1 verse 3 is very absurd. It's actually heresy. Him doing that and Aries, there is no difference. This is what the whole Council of Nicaea was all about. The Christians refuting Arius about his heresy that Jesus was a created being. Like I said, up until now in the sermon, to 60 minutes in the sermon, it was actually good. I mean, I feel like he was preaching until he said this. And I'm like, wait, what was even the point? It doesn't make sense because he is talking about the resurrection of Jesus Christ. This is an Easter preaching, Easter sermon. And it was pretty good until he said this. And it just didn't make sense. Yes, just because Jesus is the light of the world, just because God is light, does not mean every single word that is used in the Bible, which is light, actually refers to Jesus or actually refers to God. So I feel like I'm talking a lot. So let's continue to the end.
So if the source of light isn't the sun, I started to think about it. The source of the sun actually is used for something very strong. It's used for time. Stay with me. I know I'm scientific right now, but it's going somewhere. The sun, S-O-N, is the source of the S-U-N, but the source of time is the S-U-N. Because before there were stopwatches and clocks and iPhones, the only way you knew the time was where the S-U-N, the sun, was. Y'all staying with me? Y'all remember sundials? And well, no, y'all don't. But The only way that you knew it was morning is that the sun came up. And the only way that you knew it was evening is that the sun went. So the sun is the source for time. Pastor Mike, why did you say all that? Because I have 4 kids. And I'm trying to teach them how to tell time right now. And Gia is about to be 5 years old, and she has no concept of time. So I can say 5 hours, and it's the same thing as 5 minutes to her.
All right, so just let me know your thoughts. If you want to watch the whole sermon, you can click on the description box below, and it will take you to the Transformation Church channel, and you can watch the whole video, the whole sermon, and. Just let me know. Do you think that we're taking this out of context? Because, like I said, up until now, the sermon was actually good. It was going good until he actually introduced this, and I really did not even get the analogy that he was trying to make by saying the sun S-U-N was the one that was created before S-U-N. It just didn't hold. It just didn't make a whole sense to me.